What is going on, everyone out here in our NBA world? We are live for yet another episode of MNC Hoops. I will be already apologizing for last week. It's been a crazy week. We weren't able to go live. Life happens and it gets crazy sometimes. So we're glad to be back live now. Of course, we got the finals going on. We'll talk more about that in just a second, but they're playing live as we speak. Pacers against Thunder. It's been surprising so far already. So, of course, I'm your host, Michael. CJ is my co-host up in New York. I'm down here in Kentucky. How we met is kind of a crazy thing, but we love this podcast, and we could talk hoops all around the world, basically, for this. So, as we get ready to get on here, CJ had to step away from the camera for a second. And, of course, Quan coming in saying Pacers. Okay, so yeah, definitely surprising on that. And, of course, we'll get into that just in a little bit as soon as CJ gets back because we got kind of a lot to talk about on here. I guess I'll go ahead and just bring up the graphic, or at least the header here for us. Of course, the Oklahoma Thunder, the number 1 seed out of the West, Pacers number 4 out of the East, are losing. I guess we'll say the Pacers lead the series 2-1 in this matchup. Of course, you know, if you're watching the show, obviously you like basketball, so you've already been tuned in to most of the finals. If you guys get in the comments, maybe let us know what are some of your thoughts on what's happened so far. Of course, the first game, we all know the Thunder were up, I want to say, about 22 points. And just like every other team that's been up over 20 points in this NBA playoffs, they lose the lead. I think that was the first lead that they had in the whole game when the Pacers took it in the fourth quarter and, of course, ended up winning that. CJ's finally back with this. It's looking kind of ugly as on myself on this screen here, but how we doing, and what do you think of the series so far?
It's good, brother. I'm doing well. We missed last week, but we're back now. Going to cover everything we missed and talk about I think, a great NBA Finals so far. Right now it's Game 4. It's been pretty back and forth. I think there's a few things that I've thought about in watching the first 3 games and then watching pretty much the first half of Game 4 is, one, the depth from each team.
Mm-hmm.
Game 3, you saw Mathurin come in there, drop 27. It's like the 11th guy, 12th guy. Rick Carlisle, Mark Dagnall, they're comfortable in playing, more than 10 players if need be. Everyone's ready, everyone's prepared. That's the trust that you have in your guys. And then also you see that the players, they have confidence in themselves because of the work that they put in before stepping on the court. You get minutes. If you play well, you stay on the court. Everybody's selfless. They understand what the goal is. And I truly believe in a parity era. And then this is the parity era where there's no super teams. It's not 3-4 guys on one team. You have a couple guys and then a great collective of great players. Guys play together, defense, offense, moving the rock like we're seeing with OKC and the Pacers. The fundamentals and what it takes to build a team is going to show and be highlighted more than anything in this era. Attention to detail, how you move in the rock. You can't just be ISO, because the way teams are built, they have personnel to stop that specific scheme. And then also they have the player that could stop that specific scheme could also put the ball on the floor, shoot the ball, like an Aaron Nesmith, like an Aaron Wiggins, Lou Dort, Caruso. They could do a multitude of things. It's not just all he could do is dunk. All he could do is shoot the corner 3. You get a collective of guys that understand their role, but if need be, they could still do what it takes to impact the game from a scoring perspective. So that's the one thing. The depth for me has been a key thing that I've noticed in this series. And then the defense and how Indiana, they're able to they do a great job of making you pay when you turn the ball over. Like, they make sure they score off of those turnovers. And when you get 3-4 in a row and then you're scoring, you hit a 3 and maybe 2 baskets, you're creating a run just off your defense. You're not even in the half court. So when Indiana has it going defensively and they're able to create turnovers and they get out on the break, everyone knows how to run the lane, run the right side. It doesn't just have to be Halliburton facilitating, but if need be, obviously he's the floor general. He makes everything happen for Indiana. They're and this is why you could have games where in the Eastern Conference Finals that Aaron Nesmith could score 4 or 5 threes in the fourth quarter. Benedict Mathurin could come in last game, score 27. Nembhard could hit a big 3 in game 1 on the road in Oklahoma City to tie it up before Halliburton hits the game winner. Like little things like that are the reason why the Pacers are up in this series. TJ McConnell, I mean, they have a Obi Toppin. It's just everybody on the team. You see Thomas Bryant and Tony Bradley. They were getting minutes in the Eastern Conference Finals. It's just this is the last 2 series of our season. We're playing everybody. If you're not ready to go, then you're not going to play. And I love that coaching style. I think we see, some of the teams that are stubborn and don't want to open up the rotation. We saw what happened with that, and I think right now with the Pacers, it was a great optic too. Like before they went back to the game after the commercial break, they were showing the Pacer legends, Reggie Miller, Mark Jackson, Chris Mullin, all those guys. For my era, it was really like Jermaine O'Neal, Ron Artest, Steven Jackson, Reggie Miller, like towards the end. Obviously not really in the 90s, but towards like the early 2000s. And he was still playing at a high level. Paul George, of course, Roy Hibbert, Danny Granger, George Hill, David West, like those, that's really my era when it comes to the Pacers. So they've always had solid teams, let's say over the last 30 years. They've always had solid teams, but they've never been able to put it together. And what we're seeing right now is just whatever you want to say about. Listen, we're going to talk about the superstar conversation and what the definition is a little bit later. But to me, Halliburton is 1,000% a superstar. Like, what they're 8-0 when he scores 20 or more in the playoffs this year. So. Just he's a floor general. He gets everybody involved. He understands how good his teammates are more than anybody else that's on the court. So he's going to get them the rock. He's going to make sure they're put in the best position to succeed. If he's getting to the basket, that's what I want to see him do more. Is just attack the basket a little bit more, because now if you're attacking the basket, you're getting into you're driving middle, and you're getting layups and floaters. With your playmaking ability, it opens everything else up. And he's 6'5", so you can see over the defense. It's not a pass that, it's not a defense that he can't see. It's perfect. He's the floor general. He's a floor general, and we see the different styles in the guard spot. We see SGA he's a playmaker, but he's a score first guy, and then he uses his when they guard 2, when they have to double him, then he's able to use his playmaking to show how good he is. Halliburton's a little bit different. He'll start passing first. Then if need be, get it going. And it doesn't matter what's going on or what his shot attempts or his field goals look like. At the end of the game, he's gonna show up.
Yep.
So if that's not a superstar, I don't know what is. He's led the Pacers to the finals. No one said, other than Pacer fans, no one else had the Pacers in the finals. Other than Pacer fans. So what does that tell you right there? I mean, and this is the back-to-back conference finals appearances. It's not a flat. Last year, they tried to say last year was a flash in the pan. Now they're back. Now they're in the finals. So what is it? Like, you just have to give them their respect. You have to give Halliburton his respect. When he got traded, there were a lot of questions. When he got traded from the Kings to Indiana, there was uncertainty. I think he only had 1 year in Sacramento. And they let him go. Well, I think 1 or 2 years, 2 years. 1 or 2 years in Sacramento, but questions. Can he be the guy? Can he be the leader? And here we are, 4 years later, top of the East, going to the conference finals. Now they're in the finals. We'll see what they can do in the second half. Take a commanding 3-1 lead. I mean, we know what the numbers are when that happens. So Close game. Definition of a superstar. No question about it. If you say otherwise, let's have a discussion. To me, I just don't. I don't see how you could say anything else. Just why? Because he doesn't score 30. I thought we wanted to see. I thought we wanted to see players play different and still make an impact. That's the beauty of the league, right? If that's what you're advocating for, you can't advocate for versatility of different star players. You don't want everybody to play the same, and then you have a guard that plays differently than the other guard that he's going up against in the finals. They're both impacting winning, but you're saying he's not a superstar because it doesn't look like what you're accustomed to or what you want it to look like. Like, are you really talking basketball or not? You just just hyperbole. So.
And I think it kind of goes to what you were talking about earlier, is where he's a pass first kind of player, or at least early in the games, he's a more pass heavy. A lot of times our superstars that we like you said, are scoring 30, 40 points. They're doing all that before they do the passing. And so you get to see some highlights or whatever, or a nice reel. But Haliburton, man, he's just a solid player. I mean, there's nothing else you can say about it. It's just what he does all around, setting up the right guy, getting Pascal in the right spot where he wants to, still creating as he just goes in and pulls basically a double clutch layup reverse here. I mean, he really does it all. 6 assists per game. That's what he's averaging. I think it said 4 rebounds. And of course, the points that he does score, it's hard to plan for a player like that. Do you double him to make him not score so he makes it pass? Oh, well, he makes the right read, so he's going to get on there. So do you go one-on-one, take away the passing threat of him? Well, he's going to get to the basket and score. I mean, he's clutch. That's all you can say really right now. If it's last second shot, Haliburton's taking it and somehow it's going in right now. So I think people may not consider him as a superstar just for not having the flashy look. And that's it. And that's kind of trash if that's the only way you look at it. I mean, I'm not comparing these two to the same here, but this run, I think Indiana has more talent as far as what's on the team, but it reminds you of the Dirk run in Dallas, just like the one sole guy that just does everything and still gets the teams. Now, I just said it because everyone said Dirk willed Dallas to that championship. Yes, they had, Jason Kidd, they had some other players that filled in perfect with that role, but Haliburton's leading this team where Pascal's doing what he needs to. Miles Turner's doing what he needs to. Obi's there. Of course, everyone else is there. But, this team is Haliburton's. And, like you said, nobody outside of Indiana thought this team would be where they're at. So it's been fun to watch. Of course, it's halftime now, 2-1. Like we said, Pacers are up. I think it was 57-55 at halftime. I'm not for sure. I know Casey Wallace hit a jump shot. I'm not for sure how it finished out there. It's hard to watch a game and talk live with, what's going on. But we could keep talking about this game right now, but let's go ahead and back up just a tad bit, if you're good with that.
Yeah, we'll go back to the game for sure.
Okay.
But yeah, it's been a great first half.
And honestly, I think 2 weeks ago when we talked about this, we actually said we thought OKC in 5 at the most. We thought it could be even a sweep some. I mean, not much, but we thought they'd be a gentleman sweep. Pacers are proving us wrong, man. They prove everyone wrong all season long. So let's go ahead.
We didn't even make our predictions, actually. At least not on the show.
Okay. Well, maybe we talked about it afterwards. Yeah. We just said, 5 games, what we kind of thought. But let's go back to the Eastern Conference Final. Let's recap that because I know it hits home to you a little bit, which also causes some other conversations that we also need to have here.
Absolutely. Yeah, so Eastern Conference Finals, Pacers get it done in 6. I'll start with the good stuff, man. Listen, historic season for the Knicks. I've never seen, I was alive, but wasn't able to grasp what was going on back in 99, 2000. I was only 5.
Right.
So this is one of the most special, seasons I've seen as a Knicks fan. Going to the Eastern Conference Finals. A lot of people they thought we would be able to go there, but most people had Boston, Cleveland. Most people had Boston, Cleveland, and then a long shot would be the Knicks. The fans, just everything. It was special. It was a special season, man, for sure. I'm definitely not taking it for granted. Disappointed with the outcome. The Pacers, what they do well is the kryptonite for what the Knicks do well. And when you're not playing efficient basketball and when you're turning the ball over the way the Knicks were turning the ball over in the Eastern Conference Finals, that in complement with what Indiana does well as a collective, it caused a lot of problems for New York defensively. You know, Cat, he's going to really have to. It's a mindset for Karl-Anthony Towns. That's really what it comes down to. You know, the drop coverage. It's just impossible. It's impossible in the playoffs. Or if you're going to do drop coverage, you need to the people behind you have to understand the rotations, and it needs to be everyone needs to know what's going on if you're going to call that on the screen. Like, you can't be the only one doing that and then expecting everybody else to help you. That creates confusion. That creates late rotations, open shots, open layups, late closeouts. And you're the center, you know, you're the starting center. You're supposed to be the anchor of the defense. You're supposed to be the anchor of the team. You're supposed to stop people from going to the basket, whether you're on the perimeter or whether you're in the paint. That's your primary job. You're the tallest player on the court. So that should be expected. But we saw in Minnesota, you know, he's not a center. You know, he doesn't want to play center, which is cool. Okay, he doesn't want to play center. So now you have to put a traditional five in there with Mitchell Robinson. And we saw success in that. We didn't see a lot of success. We didn't see it a lot because Mitchell Robinson was hurt during the regular season. Right. I feel like that would have been a lineup eventually Tibbs would have went with. But since we had and then Tibbs, a critique from Tibbs, and we'll talk, we're gonna dive into the firing in a little bit, but not playing Purdy a little bit more in the playoffs. I mean, in the regular season. I know he got hurt towards the end with the meniscus, came back. You know, he wasn't on the injury report when he was able to come back. So he could have used some minutes. His rookie, he's 24. You know, he's not one of these like super young guys. He understands the game. We could have used his minutes, and that could have potentially translated into the postseason. But that's what you have to do if you're going to keep Cat. You have to put a center in complement with him. But even with that, he still has to guard. You still have to step. You still got to step up on the screen, get back, rotate. You have to move your feet because in the playoffs, it's 1st to 4, and they're going to exploit everything you don't do well. And when they watch the film, they see you're the weakest link and you're the tallest guy, and that's a problem. You know, so when Mitchell Robinson is out there, he at his height, with his physical traits, you know, he can switch on everything. And it's an easy switch between McCall, OG, and Mitchell Robinson. You could just call that switch seamlessly. Or, you know, if they want to fight over it, depends on what the call is. But you're comfortable with that switch. We saw that a lot against Boston. They were able to switch seamlessly, help each other. It's just a mindset, like I said. You know, with Karl-Anthony Towns on defense, you have to try, bro. You have to try. I mean, when you're on the court and your defensive stance is the stance of a wide receiver in the NFL, it's like, you know, that's not everybody's watching. You know,
but I want to ask you this too, if you don't care, because Tibbs coached him in Minnesota. Everyone knows that defense was a thing for him there, you know, not playing the defense. Tibbs goes to New York. They trade for Cat to get him there. You guys knew he didn't play great defense. That's why they had to go get Gobert. So, I mean, I hear you, and I'm not disagreeing with you at all, but that's like, I don't know, getting a boat for Christmas and thinking that you can go in the ocean with it when it's just a John boat. Like, you knew what you're getting, and can he play different, or are we asking too much of what we are getting with him already?
Yeah. So to start the season again, I think they were probably expecting Mitchell Robinson to come back a little bit earlier.
Mhm.
Tibbs didn't deserve the boot. Come on, brother. Come on, brother. Stop that. You know hoops. Stop that, brother. You know it was time.
We'll get there, kid. We'll give you your time here shortly.
It was good though. But yeah, I'm expecting him to lock in. That's what I'm seeing. You're a grown ass man. I mean, what are we talking about? You want to be a legend. You want to go down as a Knick legend. You look at Willis Reed, Patrick Ewing. They play defense here. Like they play defense here. The centers that had a lot of success wearing the New York Knicks jersey. Tyson Chandler, Defensive Player of the Year. That's what we're about in this city is defense. So, regardless of how it goes, whether you're the power forward or whether you're the center, it's an automatic requirement. It should be an automatic requirement. The gifts offensively, probably other than KD, and Wembanyama,
mm-hmm.
I don't think there's a more gifted guy 6'10 plus. Other than 3-level scoring, put the ball on the floor, 2 dribbles, he's already at the basket. Step back threes, mid range, turn around, mid range, fadeaways, can post up, little baby hook. I mean, he could do everything. Fader off one leg, he could do everything offensively. That's not the issue. It's the defensive side.
Right.
If we could get elite on both ends of the court, we're having different discussions. And also offensively, it's the fading. Sometimes fades too. Like Brunson, Brunson's going to get his because he's a dog. He doesn't care about the height. He's getting 20. He's getting 27. He's getting 27. Like when he's locked in, he's getting 27 plus. Like you could book that. I need Cat to have that same mindset. Go to the post, run down the court, flash your hands, get an easy basket, go to the free throw line. Like he doesn't even go to the free throw line a lot as a center. Like his free throw attempt should be much higher than what it is with his gifts offensively. He should be going to the line much more often. He averaged 24 in the regular season. He should be averaging 30 with his gifts. He's a more gifted scorer than Giannis, and Giannis averages more than him. It's a mindset. It's a mindset. This is just it. Giannis, like, it doesn't matter. I'm going to the rim. I'm going to get there. I'm going to use my dribble, whatever I need to do. I'm laying this up or I'm dunking the ball. You're not stopping me. It doesn't, whether we win or lose, 30. You know what I mean? Like, that's just what his mindset is, and that's why he's a champion. I just need to see Cat. He fades a little bit too much for me. A little bit too much, because Brunson and Cat, if they're locked in together, it's easily one of the most special guard big duos we've ever seen. And I see that. And I think Knicks fans see that. But I'm expecting both of these guys to play better defense going forward, because that's going to be the game plan now. The Pacers put out the blueprint.
Right.
Hunt Brunson, Hunt Towns. So you got to be able to change the narrative on that if you want to be a champion, plain and simple. And then just lastly, before we get to Tibbs, just Josh Hart struggled in the series. OG, Mitch and Bridges. Just for OG, got to work on that handle, bro. You have to, like, if you work on your handle, it's a wrap. You'll be unstoppable. Like once he's able to sharpen that, I think it will take his game to another level. Bridges, a lot of this will depend on who the next head coach will be, but want to see him get to the basket much more. You're a shooting guard. You need to be going to the free throw line a little bit more. He played shooting guard for us, but he really wasn't going to the free throw line. We need you to slow the game down. We need you to get some layups, dunk the ball. I mean, you got Bridges telling Tibbs to do a layup line after the halftime. I'm like, what league are we in? Is this the NBA? I was like, this is the NBA, right? I was like, the players telling the coach to do a layup line. So, we need to see just Bridges be more aggressive in terms of going to the rim. he needs to attack the rim a little bit more. And 5 first-round picks. He has 1 year left on his deal. I'm expecting him to have a big season next year. I am. So I'm not in the camp of blowing this thing up. I think you run it back. You had one of the most successful years in franchise history. You run it back. You add additions to the team. Obviously, head coach is going to be massive. This next head coach is massive. It really is. I mean, it really determines what this window is here for this Knicks team. Massive, massive hire. But I'm not in the camp of blowing it up and doing irrational deals because somebody put it on X. Like we're not subscribing to that type of logic. So run it back, play better. That's it.
So I know you already mentioned the coach and the strategy and on all that. You want to just kind of go ahead and jump into that part of it?
Seamless.
Okay. Because, of course, they fired the coach. We know that. Tibbs is out. Kevo's already said that they shouldn't have fired. And I don't know if you have this clip or not, but Charles Barkley said that the Knicks are kind of stupid, basically, I think is what he said, for firing the coach without a plan. So I don't know exactly what's going on as far as their, quote, plan, but also I'm glad you got this brought up. I'm going to blow it up so I can just see players or even the conversation denied to interview some of these players or some of these coaches have already been rejected as you got up here. So I like this. The Knicks are 0-4 at getting permission to speak with the coaches after firing Tibbs. That's hilarious. But so what are your thoughts on the strategy that they're going to be using on this hire? Because so far they're 0-4 on even getting the interview.
Yeah, they're actually 0-5. They got denied for Billy Donovan as well.
Okay, yep, I knew that one. I didn't.
So I guess they're trying to see if one of these head coaches want to leave and be the head coach of the Knicks. We saw a situation with like Doc Rivers and the Clippers. Doc Rivers was the head coach of the Celtics, and they made a move. And then he wanted to be the head coach of the Clippers, and they made a trade and they made a move. So it's not rare. Like it's rare. But it's not something that's never happened before. Like it's something that's happened before. And you never know with these coaches. They may want to go to a different situation. They like the roster that we have, and you can make a potential move accordingly. All the teams they denied, they're content with where they're at. Cool. So the next step is try to see assistant coaches, former head coaches. With a lot of experience, someone that may have been there before with the organization that you believe in, that's in step with the same window of the age group of your players, but they still respect the head coach to where it's not a buddy thing, it's a head coach player thing, because that's going to be key as well for this next hire. So yeah, 0-4 in this, Charles Barkley, and it's a lot of people that don't really watch. They only watch Knicks games when it's on national TV and when it's on during the playoffs. They're not watching all 82 like real fans. And this is just for any other fans of teams that watch all 82. You see it differently when you watch the whole season of your favorite team.
Right.
Period. So when you see people in the media, they talk about it as if like they necessarily know what they're talking about, and they really don't, because they don't see all the games. So don't really care what that guy has to say. So it was needed. It was needed to be done. First off, listen, Tibbs built the foundation when he got hired in 2020 to now, multiple playoff appearances, an Eastern Conference Finals appearance in his last season as the coach of the New York Knicks. Mm-hmm. Brought a lot of success to this organization where it did not have any at all. Let me make sure I get that on record or whatever platform we're doing. Let me make sure I say that, because what this Knicks franchise was 2018, 2019 was pop. No question. David Fizdale, Steve Smith, all those, it was not great to watch. It was terrible basketball. There were some young players that fans thought could have hope and do things, but for the most part, it was terrible. It was terrible from a front office perspective, and then that obviously displayed itself on the court as well. As soon as we got Thibodeau, everything changed. There was structure. This is how we're going to play. This is our identity. Whether I don't agree with everything, but at least I respect the fact that he has his ways, and his ways, the majority, for the most part, leads towards winning, for sure.
Mhm.
A lot of the things that he teaches: rebounding, low turnovers. Defense, it really depends on personnel, but making sure that that's a focal point. There's things that I was definitely a fan of, but for the most part, it was just time. One of the things that the rotation, only playing 7 guys at a time. I'm like, that's just not sustainable. That's not sustainable for these guys. I know these are special players. Of course, you want to make sure you give your team the best chance to win. And if you have the best players out there for the most amount of time, yeah, the likelihood of you winning that game is very high. But these are also human beings, and you also have to build a team. And when you're going up against certain teams have different lineups and different rosters that you need to be able to match up with to still have success. So if you're just going out there with 7 guys, and then you have this team, they have 10, and they have a lineup and a roster that they've been putting out there for multiple games throughout the regular season and or in the postseason, you're not ready for it. Like why is DeLon Wright and Landry Shamet getting their first real minutes in the playoffs when the Knicks are down 0-2 in the Eastern Conference Finals? And then when they play, they help us win the game. And in the end, why were they just getting minutes? If you knew that Cat and if you knew that Brunson, we knew what the defensive numbers were when Brunson and Cat were on the court together. You know what those defensive numbers are. So why would you only play 7 guys? That makes no sense. You need to have defensive lineups centered around your star offensive players that aren't great defensively. Like, it's just, I don't know. I just feel like it's common sense. It's common sense, but just not. That was something that didn't happen in New York, and I feel like played a factor in him getting fired. You look at OKC. OKC started the finals with a whole different lineup. They put Kassan Wallace out there, and then Kason Wallace out there, and they had Chet at the 5. For the most part, they went with Chet and Hartenstein. They were now in Game 4. Now that they're down 2-1, they went back to their regular lineup with Chet and Hartenstein, and then they had that lineup for a couple minutes, and then they put Caruso in. So it's a chess match. For Tibbs, sometimes I think it was just checkers. It was just like, yo, this is what we're putting, like this is what we're putting out, and that's it. And when you have a talented team, you're gonna win a bunch of games like that, and that's what we did. And when you have a player like Jalen Brunson, who's a bona fide superstar, never shy away from the moment, you're gonna have a lot of success. But,
so you're basically saying with that strategy, they're going to win a bunch of games, but they're not going to win many series.
Yeah, to me, it's like the reverse of him and D'Antoni are like apples and oranges, like on the reverse side. Like D'Antoni's really all the offense and not really focused on defense, and then Tibbs is focused on defense, and the offense could be stagnant at times, and it's not the best, and it leads to you losing playoff series. Yes. So, and this is why that's where they have success everywhere they go, D'Antoni and Thibodeau, but they've never won a championship. So yeah, 0-4 right now.
0-5.
0-5. 0-5. But like a couple candidates I have, we're gonna play just a quick video from Shams.
Okay. I was gonna say Jenkins and Brown are conversations going around right now.
Yeah, we're good on Mike Brown, respectfully. We're good on that.
I get it.
All right.
Diligence. So now they're gonna. I expect them to look today, tomorrow, and over the weekend into some former. when you look at the Knicks. I think they're going to look at more head coaches, former head coaches that are available in the marketplace. So you think of guys like Mike Brown, Taylor Jenkins, potentially others. Michael Malone is also out there.
Michael Malone.
So I think now that they've gone through this
He's won a
exercise
championship.
of all these head coaches, current sitting head coaches, they've gotten denied by 5. Again, in their mind, there's no other vacancy in the NBA. It's just them. We have time to see what research can we do with other teams. Sometimes, usually, as UD knows, like, let's be honest, a lot of this happens behind the scenes. This one happened very publicly and in front of everyone, and they're calling the team to do their due diligence. So now I expect them to look today, tomorrow, and over the weekend into some former head coaches, maybe even assistant coaches at the NBA level right now.
Yeah, and that's the next step. That's the next step. Is as I said earlier, that's the route you go towards now. Taylor Jenkins, to me, in terms of former head coaches, would be at the top of the list to be the next head coach of the New York Knicks. Watching the offense for the Grizzlies, he could run the offense with the PNR screen action. And they also run offense where they don't necessarily have to do pick and roll. Guys are still able to score. They drive in the gaps and they move the ball. Everybody's it's off ball, free flowing offense. Everybody's getting the rock. There's cuts. There's lobs. When Ja wasn't playing, we saw that type of offense from the Grizzlies, and they still had success. Now, of course, obviously you need your superstar out there for the most part, but I'm looking at it from a scheme perspective with the talent that the Knicks have. OG Anunoby is a great cutter. Bridges is actually a really good cutter as well. Something that I would like to see more of, especially with the wingspan and his physical traits. Cat, you can see Cat more as a playmaker in the high posts. Getting guy Hart is a really good cutter. Brunson could also move off the ball. That's going to be key. Whoever this next head coach is, it's going to have to make sure, yes, Brunson he's dominant with the basketball in his hands. He doesn't really turn the ball over. He's going to get the assists. He's going to score. But in order for the Knicks to be champions, Brunson has to be able to play off the ball as well. Other guys have to be able to create for themselves and for others. It can't just be Brunson the whole time. Brunson, like Mitchell Robinson, to set a screen. Sometimes he wouldn't trust Mitchell Robinson to give him the ball on that short roll. And you see defenses, they're gonna jam and press and blitz you far up as soon as you get past half court, because they know you're not gonna make that pass. Because you don't believe in that pass, even though you have a 2-on-1 and you're supposed to make that pass. And the teaching and what's going to come down to how they play is very important. It's very important offensively. Very important offensively. The way they play on the fast break, running the floor, these guys are under 30. I mean, they should be playing much faster than what we see. Yes, I love the fact that we have great half-court players. You need that, of course. Right. But we should be a much faster team, running on the break, throwing lobs, making things happen in transition. That's going to be key. So I think Taylor Jenkins really does a really good job of that. Michael Malone, championship head coach. I don't know, like his style is very similar to Tibbs. So I don't know what the direction they're looking in terms of like what type of head coach are they looking for. I know they try to do their due diligence and with the guys that are already on teams, but now this next process of what you're looking for, like what's the age range? I think Taylor Jenkins is 40, Michael Malone is in his 60s. So then you have Johnny Bryant, assistant coach with the Cavs. He was a former assistant coach with the Knicks. So he has a great relationship with Brunson and some of those guys there as well. He was just there last year. So I think that those would probably be my top 3. I'd probably go Jenkins, Johnny Bryant, and Michael Malone. But I feel like I would prefer those 2, either Jenkins or Bryant, if it was up to me. just because of the age, the scheme. It's a modern offense that both of those guys believe in. And really what you have to do is you have to hold Cat accountable.
Mm-hmm.
You have to. Whoever this next head coach, they have to hold Karl Anthony Towns accountable on defense. And I feel like Tibbs really didn't do that. I know the report came out right after they lost, and you kind of have to take some of these stories with a grain of salt. But when the story is, the players were upset or had frustrations with Cat's defensive habits, that's something that should have been nipped in the bud day one.
Yeah,
day one. And I'm sure Tibbs had that conversation with him. Like I'm not naive to I'm not naive to think that didn't happen. But again, like I said, this next head coach still has to emphasize that and make sure of it if he wants to get the best out of the team and his success as the head coach. It's going to be paramount. Like, because if you're not getting Cat to play defense and lock in, it's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult. So, Jenkins and Bryant.
I'm actually going to say I think I prefer Malone in this, and I obviously hear everything you say then, but I just feel like Cat, Jokic, obviously somewhat there, but not the same, and then Murray and Brunson, his offense of what he has ran in the past has been, get Cat more involved possibly with the ball, make him want to be that scorer and also look to pass because he can shoot, he can pass too. I do agree with you. It's on the old scheme a little bit, same defensive mind on some of that things, but I feel like at least the 1-2 punch that the Knicks have, Malone, I feel like would be a great option. Now, I think Jenkins would be my number one, but I'm going to put Malone up there a little bit too, just because, he has a ring. He has experience. The only reason why things fell apart with him in Denver was because he wanted to play Westbrook apparently too much compared to what everyone else believed. So, we really were surprised he was even fired. So, the Nuggets are still there this year when they had Malone and everything going on. He's a good coach. He's proved he's a good coach. I think Brunson easily could be the Jamal Murray on that team, if not the bigger Jamal Murray, because, Brunson's the number one option. And then Cat, I think, can play somewhat like Jokic as far as bringing the ball up, shooting the three, of course, making the read and making the right pass. Maybe not so much on the inside game of getting the rebounds put back and all that, but I can at least see that being modified of what Malone did a little bit. So I'm just going to say I think he should be more considered on that. You may disagree with me. That's totally fine. But I want to ask you this because, I am a Kentucky guy, and, Kentucky things are always being said. And this one guy who's down in Arkansas now, some people's been asking him questions about the job and was he interested? And, of course, while he was at Kentucky, I'm talking about John Calipari. In 2020, I think he was linked with New York, possibly leaving then and going up there. He obviously didn't go, but now it's 2025 and the vacancy is there. And, of course, Karl Anthony Towns, who he coached at Kentucky. I don't think it would be a good hire for him to go, but do you think that could be a possibility that happens? Because, he's 66 or 67, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think the next head coach for the Knicks should be somebody that's in the NBA right now. Should be an assistant coach or a former head coach that's in the NBA currently today. Now, listen, if they are interested in Calipari could always go to the NBA and then always come back and be college. He'll always get a college job.
Yes.
But
yes.
I don't think so. I don't think they're looking in that route. The only one that I saw that could have been an option, of course, is Jay Wright, just because of the Villanova ties with Brunson, Bridges, and Hart. But he already said that he's not coming back. He's not doing any coaching. So
personally, if I was the Knicks too, if Karl Anthony Towns' defense is kind of the sore spot with this team right now as far as whatever needs to go on there, I don't think John Calipari would be the guy to come in and be like, Cat, need you to play some more defense, man. Like you gotta step up because Calipari, when he was with Kentucky, it's more like, oh man, Karl Anthony Towns, you're the guy, oh, you're going to shoot, you're going to score, we're going to play some good defense, but our defense always lacked in any team. There's rumors now that Calipari, when he would go to the summer games at Kentucky, would tell the overseas opponent, whoever we were playing, that they could not play a 2-3 against us, which apparently is actual facts because he can't coach against a 2-3. So, I mean, defensively, he struggles with different things, of course. We've seen that in the past. I think Karl Anthony Towns being there would be interesting for the reunion. But if that's the liability on defense, can John Calipari even coach him to make him do more? I don't know. So I'm going to Malone will be my I'm not going to say my pick because I think Jenkins is number one. But I want to say that my prediction of who gets his job is Malone.
Okay. All right.
Who do you think? Who you pick? Who do you want and who do you pick?
To me, it's really 50-50 between Jenkins and Bryant.
Okay.
Those are the two.
So you're happy either way with those?
Yeah. I think both options would be really good for New York. I think Taylor Jenkins probably has a lot to prove. Post Memphis, he kind of, just like you talked about Malone, got clipped right before right at the end as well. So coming to the East was a Spurs, was a Popovich disciple. So again, knowing how to get great shots without a stagnant offense. I'm always a fan of those type of coaches, and I think with the talent that we have, if everybody's able to buy in, just like how they bought in with Tibbs, we could see something special, man, for these next 3 to 5 years. But I think they should go the younger route. Mike Brown, not the biggest fan. I'm gonna pass on that.
Good coach, but he always gets fired in like 5 or 10 games. So let's just not even waste our time on that. So let's go ahead. We talked a lot about this East and everything. Of course, we had to jump into the Knicks on that. I don't know why we always go there. But let's go ahead and jump over to the Western Conference Final. Of course, we know the Thunder won, but they were playing the Timberwolves. They gentlemen swept, if you will. The Timberwolves 4-1, and really just, I won't say put some question marks, but excuse me, we'll just jump into it. What's your thoughts on this?
Another, again, just like the caption says, back-to-back Western Conference Finals appearances for Minnesota. Definitely a lot they could build off of. First season with Randall and Ant-Man. I mean, I think most people did not expect Minnesota to get this far.
No.
And have this success. I picked the Lakers and I picked the Warriors, so I definitely wasn't one of the guys either that thought they would get to the conference finals. But they're a great team. They're a great team. Play really good defense. They just went up against a juggernaut in Oklahoma City, and they just know how to win, and just everything is meshing well for them right now. What Minnesota needs is they need another point guard. They need a point guard. They need a younger guy. Mike Conley's had a hell of a career. Mm-hmm. But I think at this stage, he'd probably be best if he's coming off the bench, leading that second unit. They need a young point guard, playmaker that could defend, knock down shots. He can't be a liability. And again, this is kind of like, it's not a perfect player I'm describing, but this is the type of person you need if you want to get to the finals. You need someone out there that could be able to guard SGA and put the ball on the floor and make SGA guard. It's the facts. Mm-hmm. So there's or you can make a move and go get Kevin Durant.
Well, I was going to bring that up because that is some conversation going on, but
definitely
we might be jumping too far on that. But
just a small sneak peek.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
I'm just saying that's what they need. Like they need another player in that starting lineup that could get you 25 on an efficient clip in the playoffs. Like Randall like, yes, he can do that. He's done that. He has the ability to do that, but I don't know. I don't know if he could be the second best player on a championship team. I think it would have to be someone else. Their Ant-Man.
And of course,
to be that guy.
I'm a big fan in Rob Dillingham, of course, who has a lot to grow. I mean, it's not going to be next year that he takes over or anything like that, but I do think they do have a young point guard that's still going to be back up right now. But as far as putting the ball on the floor, once he figures it out, as far as in the NBA, I think the A is going to be really impressed by some of the stuff that he can pull off. So hopefully he can get in there, get some more growth going on, and possibly be that guy for them. But
yeah, has to get stronger. Has to get stronger, and he has to defend. I mean, with Chris Finch, you have to play defense.
Yeah.
So it's just, as good as the scorer as he is, and he's kind of like a lightning rod, right? Like his shot, everything is quick. He's fast, but he has to get stronger because guys are big, bigger and stronger as well. Those defenders. So you have to be able to get by those guys, get to the basket, get to the free throw line. Mm-hmm. That's just the next step for him in year 2, and I'm sure he's probably doing that. It's just getting stronger. He could be a factor. Like, I don't know. I do believe Minnesota is probably in play for KD. So I don't know which young guy, Terrence Shannon Jr. from Illinois had some really pretty solid moments in the playoffs. I thought he would get more minutes in the regular season for the Timberwolves, but when his number was called in the playoffs, he played well. So. He's a young Nickeil Alexander-Walker, really good player. Gobert, I mean, it's just listen. Gobert's impactful, but it's just unfortunate that he doesn't have to just it's just not in his nature to just go out there and just score. It's very unfortunate. It's very unfortunate because if he just had the, and it's probably too late at this point. What is he? 13 years in. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's just like. It's probably not going to happen at this point. But if he just had some type of offense to his game. I mean, he had that once in a lifetime game against the Lakers. I thought he was going to be able to. I thought he was going to be able to build off that. Not saying 25 and 20 every night, but at least double doubles every night. Should be no reason why this guy's not getting. It's weird to me. Like I said, it's a mindset on defense. Guys definitely think twice when they drive, when he's in the middle. You can't deny that. But his ability to not even look at the rim and be a factor on offense, it definitely hurts Minnesota a little bit when they get to the playoffs. So this is why they're going to need him. This is why, to offset that, you're going to need another bona fide bucket go-getter. Mm-hmm. Jaden McDaniels, he brings the defense, he brings the floor spacing, but he doesn't bring the off the dribble ability to where defenses might have to put 2 on him as well. Like that's not in his game right now. And he's been in the league for, I think it was 5, is going on year 6. So, we haven't, and he's turned out to be a great player, great quality starter. But Minnesota, if they, back-to-back conference finals appearances, the next step is the chip. And I just feel like they're missing that key piece next to Ant-Man that could go get you a bucket. And we'll see. We'll see what they do. I believe they'll be aggressive. A-Rod, that ownership group. Mm-hmm. I think they're going to be aggressive. They were aggressive when they went and tried to get Gobert, and we saw the success it's brought them. And I can see them doing the same thing this offseason. We'll see in a couple weeks.
And of course, Ant-Man's already been linked to reaching out to Michael Jordan to improve on different things, seeing double teams and how to react with those. So, I mean, Ant-Man is definitely doing the leaps that he needs to do to improve. And honestly, the way he played, the mentality he has, like he put the A ready for him. I'm going to ask you this. It's kind of spur of the moment here, but we know Halliburton's awesome guard that he's doing in Pacers. You got SGA doing phenomenal things, MVP for OKC. If you had the first pick on either 3 of these guards, and I'm going Ant-Man, SGA, and Halliburton, which one would you prefer? Now, it doesn't mean you're right or wrong, it's just your opinion, of course. So which one would you want to build around?
Anthony Edwards.
That's kind of why I'm asking that question. I kind of agree with you. I mean, the other two are special. SGA, in my opinion, would be second. But Halliburton does so much more, too, that gets unnoticed. But yeah, Ant-Man's just his attitude. You can't really teach that. So to me, what he does and can still do, I think is above both of those. And not being disrespectful to the other two, of course.
Yeah, he's younger. I mean, he's still younger than SGA and Halliburton. So I think by like 2 or 3 years. So, that's who I would go with. A lot of that, the age, and look back to back conference finals appearances before the age of 26. I mean,
it's crazy.
In the West. So,
and he still said in the next 4 years, if he gets a ring, he may go to NFL. Which is crazy.
Yeah, I don't.
You think he's lying?
I don't know. I just think right now he needs to just be focused on like
winning that ring.
Exactly. Just focus on next season, working on being a better playmaker. He improved on his 3-point shot from one off season. Really, with top 3 in 3-point makes this year. At an efficient clip. So I think the next step is just playmaking, getting guys involved. We saw Golden State, the Lakers, OKC. They did a really good job in some moments of creating a wall. They showed too, but they just did a good job of just making it confusing Ant-Man at times. So I think now this offseason is how to attack those situations. Get how to score off those situations, and obviously pass and get a good shot for your teammates. So. I think that's just the next step for him, just taking his game to the next another level from the playmaking aspect. But yeah, easy superstar, top 10 player in the world, and Minnesota, man, they did a great job of building this team. Chris Finch,
they're so close.
Chris Finch, one of the most underrated head coaches in the world, doesn't get any credit at all. When you talk about these top head coaches, his name really rarely gets mentioned. But when you're in the Final Four, 2 years in a row in the most competitive conference, you got to get that guy his props.
Absolutely. I mean, Eric Spoelstra is the last one that we think of, back to back with Miami, and the respect that we give with him. I mean, of course, much more of a tenure there, but yeah. So I want to kind of consolidate these two. Now, since we're on this, but you've mentioned it, KD possibly is some trade rumors of going here. So we're going to bring this up. Kevin Durant expected to be traded soon. What would the Timberwolves have to give up to get KD if this was to happen?
There's not going to be a Giannis Kevin Durant intermingling trade going on. You said a week. I think it could be even sooner than that. I think there's some motivation with some teams, potentially even sooner than 7 days. Maybe in the next few days we could get some Kevin Durant trade action. There is some serious traction on conversations, on trade scenarios with the Suns. They've had about 6 to 8 teams reach out. There's been interest. There's been some offers. There's been some negotiations. But really in the last 24, 48 hours, I'm told the focus of the Suns conversation has been on a few of the teams, and here they are. The Houston Rockets, the Miami Heat, and the Minnesota Timberwolves. I'm told those are the 3 teams right now where a lot of the focus for Durant lies. There's some motivation.
Does he want to go there?
Sooner than later. So it's a great question you ask, AJ, because he's on an expiring contract, about $54 million. And so that could also come up as an issue here, where if there's a team that for sure wants his extension, or will there be a team? We saw what happened with Kawhi Leonard in 2019, or actually 2018, and then he won the championship in 2019 with the Toronto Raptors, where they just literally had no idea whether he wanted to be there, probably didn't want to be there, and they trade for him, they win a championship, then he leaves anyway. So will there be a team, whether it's in this mix or a wild card team, that just takes a swing and just banks on themselves and hope that they can potentially make a deep run and keep them there? But that's going to be the big question.
So this conversation is really heating up a lot more than what I realized. If he's saying in possibly 48 hours of trade here. So
yeah. So you heard those teams: San Antonio, Miami, Minnesota, Houston. Out of those four, who do you like?
I mean, I don't know. Of course, it's Miami for me, who I like on this. But I mean, could you imagine if the Spurs were to somehow trade? I mean, it has to be involved with that first overall pick.
Second pick.
Yes, second pick.
They got 2. They have 2 and 14.
Yes. So I mean, they have the ammunition to make that trade, I guess. But could you imagine a Wemby, KD, and De'Aaron Fox lineup? Like you have the defense that you didn't have in Phoenix, basically down on the 5 with 4 or 5, whatever you want to say he plays. But he's 7'4" that can block shots. Let's just go with him. You've got De'Aaron Fox, who is a point guard, who can scoring point guard, and then KD on that team with anyone. I mean, Cassell, I think, would be gone. I don't know what else in that trade, though. Definitely this first round, a couple next ones coming. But, I mean, Kevin Durant is declining.
How many first rounds? 37.
I'm going to say 3.
Okay.
And maybe 2 players, upcoming players.
2 first-round picks, 2 players, 37-year-old KD.
With an expiring contract who may not come back. So, I mean, I don't want to give too much if he's not interested.
Yeah, that's what I said. That expiring is really that's the if you had like 2 years,
then okay.
So you're saying 3 first-round picks, 2 young players.
I think so.
And which team do you think has the best offer based on?
Honestly, I think it's the Spurs
Over Houston.
Because I don't know the picks that Houston have. Obviously, they have so many young small guards all in there that's just, can't play. Reed Shepherd, of course, Kentucky guy who went to the G League and destroyed it and only spent like 3 days. And they're like, okay, we got to have you back up here, but doesn't get the chance to play because Van Fleet's in the way and just so many other things that they got. Yes, they have the now ready players. I don't know what their picks look like, but I mean, personally, if I'm a Kevin Durant type player, I would like that 5 guy or a Wemby size guy to be on my team to match up with, to say, okay, you take care of that. All I got to do is score and help out on defense some. But if you go to Houston, I mean, you got Şengün, but he's not really a rim protector. I mean, you got Brooks, who isn't really even a big. So, I mean, to me, where I would as a player want to go would be the Spurs. Even if we talk about Miami, they already said Hero is untouchable, Bam is untouchable. So, I mean,
yeah, I mean that's obvious,
right? So, I mean, if I'll let you let's go back. Let's not get too far ahead of us. So on Houston, because I think you think Houston would be the best option, which of course it makes sense.
No, I don't.
Okay,
I just asked you that.
Well, you're just trying to trick me there.
No, I was asking you because there's other teams right. Involved.
So, I mean, and I also have to, everyone has to look at it on the Phoenix Suns side too. If you're going to trade, who are you going to get to match up on your team that still keeps Devin Booker happy, that makes you competitive as well? So, I mean, yes, maybe a point guard. So Booker can play the 2, but you still need a power forward, small forward, whatever you want to say, a 3 or 4, who can help out pretty ball dominant as well. So, I mean, what do you do? Of course, I guess Bradley Beal is still there. So maybe you focus on those 2 and feel role players. I wouldn't do that. But, I mean, so you got to think what's Phoenix going to do too. I mean, if I get Reed Shepherd on my team, who is an upcoming player, matched up with Booker, and get those 2 gelling together and then get a decent size power forward or small forward, okay, maybe. But to me, I think it's the Spurs.
Spurs. Okay.
I mean, what do you think the best offer for Houston would be?
Jabari Smith Jr., Tari Eason, probably 2 first-round picks, just because he's coming off an expiring deal. He's 37. Finished the season hurt. I'll probably give 2 first-round picks over 3.
I mean, of course, that's what I'd offer, but I think it may take 3.
Yeah, it may take 3. It might take 3 because Phoenix did what they gave up. They gave up 4. They gave 4 to Brooklyn.
Yep.
To get KD. So,
and who did you say?
I was gonna rank them right now. I would say San Antonio 1 for me. Just from the like passing of the torch of the play style with KD and Wembanyama. You know, the 6'11 plus elite efficient 3-level scorer. KD still could do that at a high level with Wemby. You know, KD teaching, Wembanyama the moves and I mean that, and then seeing that on the court with Fox. I think that'll be great, and it'll bring life back to the San Antonio Spurs. You know, something that we really haven't said since, let's say, 2017 when Kawhi was still. When it was Kawhi in LA, that's when they were still contending. But in terms of hype and expectations, definitely it would be as high since, of course, the prime days.
Right.
When they had Tim, Tony, and Manu. So that'd be great to see. Small market team, building a contending team for Wembanyama in his 3rd year. That's excellent. I mean, that's exactly what small market teams are supposed to do. Like, not, we got this guy, let's just let him coast for 7 years and hopefully he stays. Like, no, it's let's build around him now so he could stay. That's different type of mindsets from front offices. So Spurs would be number 1 just because just aesthetically what that would look like. I mean, that'd just be incredible basketball. KD and Wembanyama on the same team.
Don't forget Fox too.
Yeah, no, of course. That's what I'm saying. So you got the point guard, and it helps Fox as well because Fox is not a great 3-point shooter.
Right.
So then we could see Fox KD screen action. We could see KD Wembanyama screen action. So it's just, I mean, it's going to be tough to guard that. You don't have defenders to guard a KD Wembanyama screen action. You got Fox cutting on the weak side. It'd be tough to defend. So I like the Spurs. Castle, of course, they're going to keep Castle. He just won Rookie of the Year. They're not going to trade their Rookie of the Year. Right. So I can see Vassell, Keldon Johnson. Maybe Shohan might stay because he's not a great scorer. So they could probably be able to keep him. And he could still be used as a utility guy. Just still do the dirty work, come off the bench, fast break, rebound, be a Swiss Army knife, cut to the basket, make sure he knocks his free throws. He's not a great 3-point shooter, but just do everything else. That'll be just Shohan's role. That's pretty much what he did at Baylor. So just and what he's been doing in the NBA. So they might be able to keep Shohan, and then one of those picks. 2 probably be the second pick, right? I mean, that'd be the most enticing one. So it'd probably be 2 Vassell. If they're able to keep Vassell, and they're not going to be able to keep Vassell. They need a perimeter wing that can score after losing KD. So yeah, it would probably be Vassell, Johnson. I mean, would you give up 2 and 14 for KD?
No, because
I would agree. I would give up just 2.
Because honestly, let's be for real. I mean, Fox is in his 7th year. You got Wemby just in his 2nd year, basically. Those two picks that you're going to get, number 2 is going to be someone good. It's not going to be Flag, obviously, but those are building for that solid core. Fox is a little bit older, but I mean, he's still capable of playing for another 5 years with his team. One person I'm up on no trade clause, shout out Aaron Washington, of course, with all they do here. Do you think Chris Paul, did he retire?
No, he didn't retire, but he's not staying with the Spurs.
Okay. So, of course, he's got the player option. Do you think that might be a sign and trade back to the Suns?
I think he's unrestricted.
Back up? Unrestricted?
I think he's unrestricted free agent. So
okay.
I think it was just a 1-year deal with San Antonio.
But according to no trade clause, now let's see here. He's got a 2025 to 2026 season. He has on here $12 million, but it is highlighted, so it might be that unrestricted where he could come back or not. So player option, I'd probably say what it is.
Player option.
I would assume.
Yeah, because I just saw he just did a Pat McAfee interview. He was like, he's not coming back, pretty much.
Oh, okay.
So that's where I said that.
Okay.
But the point you made earlier about Booker, like this is a different situation, right? Because you have to be very transparent with Devin Booker in terms of what you're doing.
Yeah.
Of course, he's gonna know before the Spurs, before Phoenix, if KD wants to actually leave, right? Because they seem to be very cool, right? They seem to be, they seem to be really cool. So I'm sure that'll be a conversation that KD has with Book if that is actually the case, assuming. But yeah, I mean, it's just, like whatever the offers that's being put to the table, you got to kind of talk to Booker too, because you don't want, because you still got another, great player on your team, and you don't want him to be disgruntled. So it's Phoenix is in a strange spot right now in terms of their future. They have to be. I know they're saying the trade might happen in a couple of days, but I'm sure they've been mapping this out and planning this out for weeks now, probably since the end of their season. And you have to be really smart with this because, again, like I said, you have Devin Booker right there. He's not even 30, and he's in his prime. He's in the prime of his career, and I haven't heard any discussions about him wanting to leave, but who knows, like what a move where KD goes, how that could change instantly. So we're talking about the destinations, but it's very key in terms of the team that actually has KD. They have to make the right move as well. But I would say San Antonio. I like Minnesota just because it's the same thing like with Wembanyama. KD teaming up with one of these young, hungry, rising future legends would be pretty cool. I think KD at this point is a number 2. People on TV are talking like he's still a number 1 option. I don't think he's a number 1 option anymore. I think those days are put behind him. But what he can do is definitely still go out there and score, get you 25 plus on over 50, 40, 90 guy. It's a 50, 40, 90 threat every single season. Unguardable. I know if I'm there, I'm asking him, I'm gonna ask you to play defense. You gotta play defense, bro. You gotta step up on the screen. Gotta step up on that screen, man. And try and defend. Use the length. I think it's important. I think the other reason why I think Minnesota and the Spurs make a lot of sense is because they have centers.
Yes.
Phoenix didn't have a center pretty much the majority of Kevin Durant's tenure with the squad. You got Gobert and Wembanyama, you have a bona fide rim protector behind you that could alter the shot. So you could gamble a little bit more on defense. You could when you pinch down and try to get a steal, you could be a little bit more aggressive because you got somebody behind you that could change the game. So that's another reason why I have Spurs and T-Wolves as my top 2.
Does Miami have a shot?
Sure. I mean, it just depends on what KD wants to do. I mean, I don't really know KD's vibe. Is it? I don't think it's winning championships at this point. I don't think he wants to win a championship. Really? I mean, how can it be? How
I
can
mean,
it
I
be?
get what you're saying. It's just disappointing to hear that, but yeah, I mean, I don't understand it. I mean, I always play to win, period. Like, but I never made $1
No, he
million
plays the.
playing, so it's a
No,
different
he's
win.
playing to win. He's playing to win. But I'm saying, just look at the teams that he's been on the last since post Golden State. I mean, they
Right.
haven't none outside of one team where we almost thought they would win because of a toenail, right? That's just that's literally
Yeah.
the highlight of what we talked about
Yeah.
for KD post Golden State is that what if game.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's so that's been the postseason. Other than that, it's been sweep, second round, sweep, no playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is Kevin Durant we're talking about. So as I'm saying, he's not a number one.
Yeah.
He's not a
Okay,
number
so
one anymore.
if you're Phoenix and you were trading with Miami, what would you want back? I mean, it's got to be Khalil, right?
Yeah, and then Miami said they're not budging, and I get that. So it's like
Was Khalil in with that? I didn't know Khalil was
in a potential move for KD.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if Phoenix, yeah, of course, Phoenix is going to ask for Khalil Ware.
Right.
You got Wembanyama and all these dudes in the West. Like you got a 7-footer that could shoot. Yeah, definitely. I'm at Phoenix. If they were smart.
Well, I thought you said Miami said he was untouchable.
They said, yes. They were saying like they're not trying to trade him.
Oh,
they're trying to avoid him in any trade talks. Miami's trying to avoid.
I mean, yeah,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it looks like, and what's the other team? Houston. So all 4 teams have centers,
mm-hmm.
right?
Well,
so
I mean,
that seems.
Steven Adams. I mean, he's
Steven Adams
Houston.
unrestricted. Well, Steven Adams unrestricted free agent, so he'll probably be on another team.
Okay.
But yeah, that's the pattern, right? You see, you have an older forward,
mm-hmm.
and you want to make sure he's paired up with a true 5. And so, looking at Rich Klein and KD, you map these things out. They've done this before. This is not new, and this is the last chapter. I would assume so. I would assume this would be the last stop. I mean, KD is kind of like a mercenary. He could go anywhere. It depends on how long he wants to play. Really,
mm-hmm.
That's what it really depends on. But I would suspect, wherever he goes would probably be the last stop. So it's very important. It's very important to make sure you get this right. I would go Spurs, T-Wolves. I really don't think Houston, and it's crazy. Houston, they're the 2nd seed in the West. I just don't know. I don't know. I mean, it would be fun. It would be fun to watch. The only reason why I'm really is just because I don't know what I'm gonna get from Jalen Green, but KD can unlock something from Jalen Green. Right. And I think that'd be very special too. So we got all 4 teams have young players that the destination wants to still keep, and they have a 5. So that seems to be the pattern there for the 4 teams that KD is thinking about.
Right.
Good coaching. We're unknown about the Spurs. We expect him to be pretty good. If Wembanyama didn't have the blood clots, they would have been a playing team. I think Fox and Wemby would have got them in the play-in, and who knows what happened after that, right?
Right.
So there's potential there with him. Pop pretty much gave him the Spurs. I mean, he was like, here, bro. Like, I mean, you're the one. Wow. So they have a lot of faith in him. Chris Finch, Spoelstra, obviously, Ime Udoka. So those are the top 3 things that KD is looking at, just based on the teams that Sean's reported, and I believe that report.
I'll say this, and we'll kind of move on because we're over an hour 20. We still got some stuff to talk about. I worry about Miami because, with Khalil at the 5, who can shoot, perfect with Bam at the 4, who can't really shoot, plays 5 on offense, 4 on the defensive side. If you were to trade and have KD in that lineup, somebody's got to play the 3, which KD obviously can, but is he still able and capable of guarding a 3 on the defensive side? So, of course, they do the 2-3 zone quite a bit, or used to. Who knows with whatever lineup they have. So I don't know how Miami can make it work with Hero, Durant, Bam, and Khalil as their 4. Of course, Wiggins would be another one there. So I don't know what lineup that would really look like to make it work on the defensive side and offensive side. So that's one thing I worry about. You agree?
For Miami, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I think Miami's like probably the wild card out of the
Okay.
four. You know, probably like a long shot, like location, coaching, Pat Riley.
Taxes.
I want to go to Miami and drop 30. Like, but again, like that's KD's personality, though. I mean, he
No
pretty
pressure.
much, yeah, he just wants to go. Just wants to go somewhere and drop buckets. So
yeah.
Maybe it's up there. So I think the first three teams are, hey, if I go here, we have a shot, and then Miami, we have a shot. Got to still got to make other moves around the Hero and Bam, but it's everything else, right? It's everything else that comes with it, and you still get great coaching. So we'll see what happens, man. I'm excited. He said in the 48 hours, we'll find out.
KD, Chris Paul, both come Miami. Let's have it. So another player who is really undecided about his future is Giannis. Of course, his future is undecided as far as Milwaukee, and I can't wait to see what you got on this as far as a clip or a graphic coming up here, because this has kind of been a thing, in my opinion, for about the past 3 years of him about to be out. So let's see what you got. Oh, dear.
What's one word you would use to describe Giannis's career if he doesn't win another title?
Underachiever. Underachiever. I'm going to tell you why. He's one of the greatest players to ever play the game. Over the last 4 years, minimum 200 games, Giannis, second in the league, 30.4 points per game. Fifth in the league, 11.7 rebounds per game. Fifth among qualifiers at 58% from the field. And 9 All-NBA selections in his career, 9 All-Star selections, and top 10 finishes in league MVP voting 9 times. And he has more of that than postseason series wins. That's unacceptable. It's not his fault. I'm not in any way pointing to him or what he's not doing. I'm saying that you don't look at somebody that dominant, that fantastic, with that kind of fire in his belly to compete on a night in, night out basis, and all you have is one championship to show for it. He's got 1 playoff series win in the last 4 years. Ain't his fault. He was hurt a couple of times.
Right.
Got upset by Miami, Jimmy Butler and the crew. Jimmy and them gave it to him, no doubt. But this year, Damian Lillard goes down, you lose to Indiana. We understand all of that. But to know Giannis, his career, his accomplishments, his cachet, and to say 1 championship, no. You definitely expect more than that.
What?
Hey, man. So what's your thoughts on that? Does Giannis need do you agree with Stephen A? I think you're muted, brother.
How about that? Of course, now I got a cough. I would agree with him to a point. I can't really say underachieve for Giannis as what he's done as far as statistics and whatever you want to go with. He has just had some very bad luck for his team. Of course, he went out. Dame went out. Dame first year there wasn't very good. Drew Holiday comes and they do win a ring. Chris Middleton has been pretty much hurt his whole career as a Buck. So I don't want to say underachieved because he is great. He's done great things. We do expect more rings out of that, but I just feel like I'm almost going to say it's almost like a Dame situation in Portland. He was almost too loyal to Milwaukee that they did not get him what he needed, and he still stayed. We thought the Dame Giannis was going to be great. I still think it has the potential, but the defenses, when they made the trades, kind of lacked there. The firing of the coach, bringing in Doc, it's just everything that could go wrong has went wrong with the Bucks for the past, since for the past decade, really. They did get 1 ring in there, but we thought there were other chances for rings that just came up short. So I don't want to say underachieved, but I do want to say a disappointment of what we thought we could get here as a team, not just in Giannis.
Yeah, he needs one more title. One more title. You need two to put yourself in that top 10 category, which I believe, all things considered, he stays healthy. He'll have the numbers and everything to be in that discussion. He needs at least 2 championships. Akeem Olajuwon has 2 championships, and he's in a lot of people's top 10, top 12. I believe he's already top 12. I believe he's already top 15 already. And again, he's only 30, so we just 5-6 years from now, and just think about the type of numbers he can stay healthy, what he's going to put up.
Right.
So, yes, it would be underachieved. It would be a disappointment. It would be a disappointment if he wants to get in the all-time discussions. He needs at least 2 championships. Once you get 3, now you're in. Now you're in Bird Magic talks, right? Once you get the 3, that's when you can start having real conversations. But 2, he has to win another championship. Will it be in Milwaukee? I mean, that's the question. That's the question. Man, Milwaukee's sweating right now. They're sweating right now. These last 3 years, there are 3 head coaches in 3 years: Budenholzer, Griffin, Doc. No success. Knocked out in the first round the last 3 years. They've been knocked out in the first round the last 3 years.
That's crazy.
With 3 different head coaches. So it's got rid of Middleton, brought in Kuzma. Kuzma didn't do anything. 0 impact. 0 points in a game. Just out there, just chilling. So Dame gets hurt with the Achilles. And I believe, I don't know. I think you run it back. I think he's gonna want to come back.
Mm-hmm.
And try to do this thing. He's actually my way too early MVP prediction, because I just feel like
way too early.
I just feel like he's gonna have to go off next year, bro. Because it's gonna take a minute for Dame to come back. We don't know what that starting 5 is gonna look like. Bobby Portis could be out of there. Brook Lopez could be out of there. Brook Lopez is getting fielded by multiple teams that need a center. Lakers, plenty of teams. And he can stretch the floor too. He's going to be a primary target.
He would be great in Miami.
Sure. Helping where? Absolutely. I don't know if can they keep Bobby Portis? Golden State is interested in Bobby Portis. I think that's a great fit for Bobby Portis. Learning from Draymond, 30, right there. What's good,
so
brother?
Tank.
What's up, bro?
He says he's talking about your windbreaker here, saying that it's a crappy choke team.
Oh, it's nah, it's Knicks all day, brother. 65, man. But yeah, it's just Milwaukee. I don't know what their team is going to look like, man. I really don't trust their head coach that much. So with a roster with a lot of confusion, I really don't know what this direction. What's the direction for the Milwaukee Bucks, man? Supposedly they had a discussion, Giannis in the front office and the owner.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. They have to do something. They have to do something because Giannis is in his prime. He just had a career year last year. Your average is 30, like 15. He's on a different level. Giannis in New York cat too. Who the hell cares? I don't think it's happening, man. I think the Knicks had an opportunity. If they would have, this is hindsight, but had they have waited one more year, they would have had the assets to fight. But they gave those picks to Brooklyn for Mikal Bridges. But New York could have had the assets to get someone like Giannis and Cat, because we saw what they had to give up to get Cat. It wasn't even a bunch of first round picks. The majority of their first round picks they lost that they accumulated all these years, they gave it to Brooklyn. But nonetheless, Milwaukee, they have to figure something out with this roster, man. Because I don't. You got Andre Jackson Jr., Green. You're gonna have to draft well. Man, I'm really concerned. I'm really concerned. If you're a Bucks fan, I'm pretty sure you're really concerned right
Absolutely.
now. You gotta be. You gotta be.
Because I mean, as good as this team is, you know, Dame is still Dame. Obviously, he's aged with since his Portland days. Giannis is still Giannis. Like, but other than that, you don't know what you have. Like this, we're rating this Milwaukee team of what the potential should have been and could have been, but still hasn't happened really. So
Yeah, that's over now. Like that could have been, should have been like scenario is chopped. When once Lillard went down with the Achilles, it's different. Different narrative.
Personally, if I'm Giannis, I'm ready to go now. I mean, yes, you gave up a lot to get Dame. That's who I want to thank you. But if you can't keep Portis, if you can't keep, you know, some of these other players and you can't bring in anyone, we're not winning a championship. Because the best team in the East, Boston's who everyone thought, and it has all the talent. Now there's Cleveland that's in the East. So, I mean, all these – wait a second. I'm going –
Pacers already got your number.
Yeah, so, I mean –
Pacers own you. They own the Knicks too, but they own the Bucks and the Knicks.
And really, the Knicks are better. So, right now, Milwaukee going into next season and not even knowing who they have, they are a play-in team, in my opinion. It's just they have to be because we don't even know what they're going to have. And I'm tired of thinking that potential is going to do something until it is something. Like, you know, this is almost the Pelicans of the East of what we always said. Like, they're supposed to be good. They're supposed to do this. We even said that, you know, they're the dark horse that could win the title this year. But yet, Dame came down with blood clots. So, I mean, everything that could go wrong has went wrong with them. So, it's just been a disappointing career. I don't want to say career because it sounds like it's going on Giannis, but just a disappointing decade for the dynasty of the Bucks. So Giannis, man, get out of there.
I mean, I know what you're trying to say, but it wasn't a dynasty.
Well, I don't want to say that. Just the years of
it. Even when they got the championship
era, I guess is a better word I should have used.
Yeah. They had this run that we've been on. Last 5 years, but look at that. It hasn't really been a great 5 year. It hasn't been a great 5 year run outside of the championship. You heard what Stephen A just said. Outside of the championship, they've only won one playoff series in 4 years.
The coach was on the hot seat before the championship.
It's just, yeah, exactly. And then they let him go the year after, another year after. So it's. Man, I don't know. I don't know what the direction is looking like. I would try to make a move, man. I would try to make a move,
and it would even be good for the Bucks too.
I'm trying to see if listen, like the flash, or listen, man. One of these young guys on the team, lock in. You don't want to be a franchise guy. Isn't that your dream? Isn't that your dream? Isn't that your dream to be a franchise guy? You want to play next to Giannis? Lock in. You're going to get wide open shots, cut to the basket. You got an opportunity to play in the NBA. You don't want to be a franchise. This team is pleading, begging for someone else to step up on the roster. Who will it be? That too. You know what I'm saying? It's also that too. You know, we can't just always say trade, pick up this guy, sign this guy. These teams, they draft players and they do all this type of stuff for this reason. And you're a small market team. I think Giannis will stay for the simple fact that because of what happened with Dame and how the season ended with Dame. I don't think he's just going to jump ship and leave Dame with, you know, hurt, recovering from an Achilles, with nothing to look forward to on the road to the comeback. Like that, that, you know, that doesn't even sound like something Giannis would ever do. So that's why I feel like he's going to run it back with Dame, try to see if Dame could come back before the end of the season, try to make a push. If not, then we could be having this same discussion next year.
I would say, if anything, it may happen in a 26-27 season. Of course, that's the season after next, what you're saying, because Dame, I'm on no trade clause again. Dame has a player option in the 26-27, and then the year after that, 27-28, Giannis has a player option. So that may be the year that we see, okay, Dame didn't come back because of the way the season ended in 25-26. Okay, Giannis wants out. So let's trade him so we can get someone before he doesn't come back. So, okay, looking at that, I think yeah, definitely they run it back next year. Who knows what they can get out of Kuzma this year? Okay, we traded for you. You didn't do anything. You're still a good player. It's just we want to win. You got to play defense.
Yeah. This clip, bro.
Yeah.
This clip for Kuzma, bro.
Lock in, as you say. But so Chris Livingston, of course, played in the G League for a while. He's did play for Milwaukee last year. He's got 4 years on his contract, basically. Andre Jackson Jr. is a 1-year guy. I don't see it there. I could be wrong. AJ Green in his second year. I'm just really trying to look at the young players, and I don't see it. I mean, Kevin Porter Jr. was still, he's in year 4. We're waiting on him.
Yeah, I've been waiting on him for a minute.
Yeah, so, other than that, that's it. Jericho Sims.
Yeah, so, rotation piece.
Yeah, so, they're young guys. I don't really think there.
And they don't even have a first-round pick.
Ooh.
So that first-round pick went to Portland.
And here's the bad thing. If you did try to trade...
It's the Pelicans, I'm sorry. For that Drew Holiday trade. Damn. That Drew Holiday trade is catching up to them right now. Damn.
That sucks. Because, honestly, there's nobody on this team that you can really trade that would be like, okay, we're going to get rid of you to come here. Like, nobody's going to take a chance on them. Usually it's younger guys that can develop.
Yeah, this is a weird spot, man. This is a weird spot. Like I said, because I don't see Giannis just dipping out. But I could also see Milwaukee being like, yo, we need
reset.
Something. We need something because, man, I know that president of basketball operations, sleepless nights, boy. Sleepless nights. Careers on the line.
Let's be honest. If Gobert gets 5 first-round picks, granted, I know we say that a lot. Timberwolves, that's what they have to do to make that happen. But
Giannis 5. Yeah, Giannis 5 first-round picks. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
of course, Tank saying
that's where you start at.
So for sure. He thinks Andre Jackson Jr. is going to pop off this season. Obviously, there's always a potential, but.
It's a big question mark, man. It's a big question mark. I'm just saying, it's there. They're fiending for someone else to step up, and yeah, I don't know. Like I said, they don't even have a first-round pick in a pretty solid draft with some depth.
Do they have a second-round pick?
Yeah, they have a second-round pick.
When's the last time someone's went second round and was instantly impactful?
Instantly impactful?
Yes. First year impact. Let's say that.
First year impact out of the second round. Damn, I got to really think about that.
Yeah. Tank says the Bucks can trade Jericho Sims for some draft picks.
Second round pick.
2, maybe?
Yeah, I just don't see it, bro. Yeah, the Bucks will receive the second best second round pick from the Washington Wizards, which they acquired through trades with Detroit, Phoenix, and Golden State. And then they have their own second round. Oh, actually, they don't have that. They don't even have their own second round pick. They traded that to the Cavs in 2020. Yeah, so I think that was a part of also that Drew Holiday trade.
Probably. That's crazy.
Yeah, man. It's tough. It's a tough summer. It's a tough summer in Milwaukee. Tough summer,
Okay.
Milwaukee, man.
Per Google, Ginobili was the second rounder. Dennis Rodman, second round. Draymond Green.
Yeah, but you said right away.
Right away, right.
Yeah,
And,
that's right.
Jokic was the second round, but of course it wasn't right away either.
Right.
Jalen Brunson.
It took time. I mean, Jalen Brunson didn't get his starting lineup until his third year.
True.
He was getting no minutes under Carlisle, which sounds crazy looking back. The way this guy plays everybody, I think he might have. he might have learned from some stuff, man. 107, 103, Thunder. 33 seconds left. Game 4, NBA Finals.
Oh man, I've turned that off so I can have better internet. Now I gotta go turn it back on.
Miles Turner for 3. No.
Good.
23.8 left. OKC up 4. Wow.
How much time did you say is left?
23.8.
Okay, I'm at 44 seconds left. It's 105, 103 on my side, so we're good. I just listen to you.
Yeah, turn that off, brother.
This Appalachian internet, boys, let me tell you, it's fast, but it's so late.
All right, you want to get into the Magic Johnson?
Yes, because I'm interested to hear this. I haven't heard it. So, of course, what he's talking about, Magic Johnson, where's it at? Gives his definition of a superstar. I think CJ actually really wanted to talk about this because I always say superstar a lot, and I don't mean it at that caliber, but
let's do it, man.
See, it is. I told you.
Yeah, Magic Johnson was on First Take. He's talking about a lot of topics in the NBA.
Define a superstar. A person who can go on the road and sell the building.
There we go. That's a simple definition.
Simple. I'm going to see that person, right?
So you ain't talking skill on the court. That's it. You talk about
Draw,
box office.
Stephen A.
You got to be box
Magic's in
office.
town. You're going to the game.
Yeah, a superstar got to
He
say,
said, yeah,
or
I'm a
you're running home
superstar.
from the office and saying, oh, I got to see him on TV, right? And that's what Larry Bird, people running home, right? Charles Barkley, people running home. Shaq, people running home. Kobe, people running home. And then, of course, the greatest that's ever played, Michael Jordan, people going running home to see him. Or they're trying their best to get into the arena to see that brother play. That's a superstar who could go on the road and sell the building out.
Okay. Thoughts?
I 100% agree, but I would be calling that like an elite player, like the top, like that's GOAT standard in a way to me. So I mean, superstar. Everyone has a star player on their team. That's why we have all stars. So superstar doesn't mean as much to me as the elite. So if he's referring to a superstar as my elite, 100% agree with this. And I didn't like that Stephen A. said that it doesn't matter about skills. The reason you go to the arena to watch them is because of their skills. That's why you're running to the arena or to your TV to be able to watch that game, because of their skills that they have. The Christmas games, Steph Curry against LeBron, everyone was tuned into those back in the teens because of who they were and the talent they brought. So, I mean, I don't know why he said it doesn't matter about your skills. That's the reason you're watching them. Nobody went to watch TV for Miami and watch Birdman just because everybody knew who he was. No, it's all about talent is why they want to be seen. So, yeah, I like his point on it. That is definitely a good definition for elite players.
Yeah, I think it's a part of the definition. For sure. I think it's everything. I mean, all the guys that he mentioned are all superstars. So
Elite.
Yeah. But this really goes back to like the Halliburton question, right? Because that's like what Stephen A's narrative is centered around. And I find it ironic too. And it's also very critical because you could go back, plenty of tape out there with Stephen A pounding on the table. Wanted the Knicks to go get who in the 2020 draft? Tyrese Halliburton. Knicks need a point guard. They should have went with Halliburton over Obi Toppin. It's a library of videos of him saying that over the last 5 years. Now all of a sudden, we're singing a different tune. Why would you want the Knicks to draft Tyrese Halliburton 5 years ago to where 5 years later, him showing that he's proven, to now for you to say he's not a superstar? Where's the logic?
Yep.
Yeah, I just don't see the logic in that. So again, it's a clickbait narrative that he's pushing. It's weird.
That's all he is.
Yeah, he makes sense sometimes. Sometimes it's rare, but sometimes. But yeah, that's my definition of a superstar, man. How many players in the league are in that definition?
Maybe 10, and that's not trying to name them, just going with a good cover.
So LeBron,
everybody's going to see
KD. So let's say LeBron, KD, Curry, right? All right, those are the OGs, right? Those are the OG superstars, right?
Luka, I think instantly.
So
Wemby,
Luka, Jokic, Wemby, Giannis,
I mean, now Ant-Man after this year.
Anthony Edwards. We're at 8. SGA. We're at 9.
Tatum.
And then you got Brunt. So you got Tate. So that's 10. That's your 10. Those are your 10. Okay, so we have 10 right now.
That's quick.
Brunson, Halliburton. Yeah, 12. So like around 12. Ja Morant, 13.
I think Ja Morant 3 years ago, yes. I feel.
I mean, hey, his definition was. His definition was
putting butts in the seat, basically.
Exactly.
But that's why I say 3 years ago, everybody loved him. But then he went a little crazy, faking guns and stuff. And now,
people still want to see Ja.
Right.
For his ability to jump that high at his size, people want to go see that.
Trae Young, not in this class, correct?
Yeah, nah.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Booker? I think if he'd never had KD play in the Suns, yes, because it had all been him.
But no. See that no. If you're a superstar, it doesn't matter who's playing next to you.
Right.
You're a superstar.
So who's going to
when Steph and KD, there was just two superstars, right? So like it's
that's fair.
No, I don't think he's there. I don't think so. I don't think so. I mean, he did lead Phoenix to the finals.
Mm-hmm.
But since then, I mean, he hasn't. I mean, they haven't done anything. We expected him to be in like MVP talks,
right?
In these last 4 or 5 years.
Maybe he'll be the in that talk this next year without KD.
Maybe gotta win.
What about I mean, he's overshadowed now, but what about De'Aaron Fox? I mean, he had Sacramento definitely popping.
I'm gonna say no. He had Sacramento popping. Listen, he didn't have Sacramento popping because Sacramento is a dysfunctional franchise, right? It wasn't because of Fox,
right?
Right? They went to the playoffs 1 year in his entire career with the Sacramento Kings.
True.
One. That's it.
Okay. Let's see here. Who else we got? No one in Portland. Trying to make sure
they made the playoffs and then missed the playoffs twice.
Yeah. Sacramento has no one now. Clippers. Leonard?
Kawhi, yes. So 14.
All right. So I said Utah, no one. Phoenix. We said KD already. Dallas. AD?
No.
Kyrie? I would say Kyrie, just because he's
Kyrie. But it's not just I want to go see that player though. It's also like, you have to carry your team, the success, impact, winning. Like all the guys that Magic Johnson mentioned,
Right.
or like top 10 players all time, bro.
Okay.
So it's a combination of everything. Kyrie, yeah, definitely. I'm paying a ticket to go see Kyrie. Would I consider him a superstar based on the standards and based on the names that Magic Johnson named and said in regards to this conversation? No, I would say no, he's not. To me, like I said, a superstar, like you're carrying your team to the finals, to the conference finals.
Orlando.
Year after year. Orlando. No,
Not
Banchero,
yet.
not yet. Yeah, Banchero, not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. Gotta have more. Gotta win
And
some
then
more.
Charlotte. I mean, everyone does go to watch LaMelo, but no, it's just because of Charlotte.
And then he's a great example, right? He's a great example. Like people definitely they're gonna go to Charlotte games, but they know more than likely they're not gonna win the game.
Yeah. No one in Washington, no one in Charlotte. We said no one in. There's
Detroit.
Brooklyn.
Detroit. Cade.
Soon, I think yes, but soon.
Yeah, soon. I say a year away.
Mm-hmm. I think that's the on the teams.
He win the playoff series, a playoff series or two next year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But yeah, this year was a good start. So yeah, I would throw Cade on. Cade is on that. Cade is on the buck.
Honorable mention.
I would say Cade, Booker, Ja,
Trey,
Jaylen Brown, Trae Young. Those are guys. They're like right there.
Houston. No.
Şengün, they're like right there. They're not superstars yet, but they're like right there. Everybody else I mentioned, that's like those 14 to 15 guys. So I would say that's around.
DeAndre Ayton, you forgot him.
It's crazy.
Sorry, since he went to Portland, we don't talk about him nearly as much, and I just want to disgrace him a little bit there.
OKC getting the dub.
Oh, we didn't even say SGA.
111. Yeah, I said SGA.
Okay.
Of course.
Okay.
MVP.
Absolutely.
111, 104, 14 points in the fourth quarter for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
MVP, SGA.
Hitting down some clutch shots late in the game. They needed this win. OKC ties the series 2-2, going back to OKC. Wow, man. I'm gonna put up a screen here, but what's your thoughts right now on the 2-2 series? I know you didn't see much of the game, but
I want to ask you actually, who's the pressure on now for this situation? Because it's all about that conversation. Who's the pressure on? Who's a must win on this? To me, thinking about it, obviously I want to ask you that, but I think going back to Indiana, I think the pressure is more on the Pacers to win at home because you're supposed to win at home, and if OKC can steal one there. Again, this one here, I think it puts a lot more pressure on Pacers to try to win this home game. So, yeah, that's what I'm going.
Oh, no, it's 2-2.
Yeah, no, I'm saying this fifth game. The
fifth game's in OKC.
The fifth game's OKC?
Yeah, it's 2-2, 1-1-1.
So it's 2-3-1-1?
No, it's 2-2.
No. Okay, you're right. I'm right.
Yeah.
I was thinking today was at OKC.
No. Today was in Indiana. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So does that change your mind a little bit, or? Yeah. Got you thinking now.
It does, because I think OKC after winning, well, I mean, it always is a reset. We always think there's a momentum, but there's not. It's once the game's over, it's reset, replan, and go back at it. So I'm going to say the pressure may be on OKC, even though they just got the dub today, just for the fact that it is at home and got to win that one.
So you're going with OKC in Game 5?
Yes.
Okay.
Because of the pressure. And OKC in 6. No, I think it's going 7.
Yeah, this was a good game. Obviously I'm glancing up a little bit, trying to catch some stuff while we're doing the show, but Oklahoma City, they needed this badly, man. And SGA, he answered the call. The MVP for a reason.
That's right.
His team needed him to rise to the occasion in the fourth quarter. Once the game is close, give me the basketball, and we're going to take us home. We're going to take us home with the series tied, going back home. coming off a win, a 16-point win in their last home game in game 2. So just trying to build off that. They always play really well after losses. Now, of course, this is a 7-game series, but throughout the course of the season, their record after a loss was incredible. I don't think they've lost 2 in a row in a significantly long time. So they just know how to win. They cleaned up the turnovers in the second half. Pacers, they got on they had a 10-point lead for a little bit, but OKC really locked in defensively, was able to get stops. Them going back to that traditional lineup with Holmgren and Hartenstein is paramount. Yeah, I wasn't too sure why Coach Dagnall necessarily went away from it to start the series, but as we see, they were able to get the win, going back to the traditional lineup in Game 4 on the road. It just creates a lot of issues. Yes, of course, there's weaknesses with it, but they also match up well because now you have Chet on Siakam and you have Hartenstein on Turner. And I think there was some times where Turner was kind of getting the best of Holmgren, using his size, was much bigger, crashing the glass. That's not the case now when you got someone like Hartenstein in there. He can match him when it comes to physical ability and the physicality down there in the trenches, crashing the glass, just being a bigger body, taller body. Now Chet could be on the help weak side. He can still get back to Siakam and help because he's the younger player. He can move better laterally. So I just think that it works for them. It works for them, and that's why they had success. Guys stepped up. And once the game got close, SGA answered the call. So this is a big win for Oklahoma City. And for Game 5, it's gonna be a movie, man. It's gonna be a movie. This has been an exciting series. If you're a casual, you may not necessarily enjoy this finals because you're not seeing a bunch of guys jack up threes and catch posters. But if you want to learn actually how basketball should be played. When you want to learn actually how basketball is supposed to be played, I mean, these are 2 of the best teams, clearly, obviously, that are showing it. 2 different styles, but it works for them. Mm-hmm. And defensively, too. That's really what I've been impressed with for both squads. Just their ability to get stops. These games have been significantly close, right down to the wire, really outside of Game 2. It's been a close games. A couple possessions here and there. Outcomes could change. So I think this series goes 7 games. The series goes 7 games. The Pacers are incredible on the road. They're not scared to go get a win on the road, back against the wall. Mm-hmm. They have that us versus the world mentality. They've displayed that all postseason. So I don't think they fear going back over there in OKC. They definitely have to clean up some things. Halliburton has to play better. He has to be aggressive. Wasn't aggressive as he should have been tonight, as he was in Game 3. I just think sometimes with him, it's he gets too caught up in just being pass first when they kind of need him to score first and then get everybody else going. I mean, that he kind of has to change his mindset just a little bit, because there's gonna be moments where the reason for that is he could draw 2. You want him to draw 2. And then that opens up easier shots for everybody else. If he's not drawing 2 guys, then you're kind of hoping, one of the guys that obviously could score and get hot, they get hot. But I think they need to do a better job of getting Halliburton going off the ball, just mixing it up. You have to. Everything's on the table now. This is the last series of the season. So there's some things that the Pacers could have cleaned up in this game, but credit to OKC, got a big win on the road, and we'll see what happens on Monday. It's going to be wild.
Absolutely. I even think this series should be fun for casuals, because it's 2 teams that don't get publicized. I'd make up that word. Doesn't get the showings that they really should, and we're actually getting to see them on the biggest stage that they've ever been on. So these are teams that have 2 young players that are up and coming. SGA possibly was turning in to be the face of the league. possibly. I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying possibly. I think Ant-Man's now, but we'll see how it goes as he continues on. Yeah.
There's no face of the league, man.
We want to get back into that comment.
There's no face of the league, bro.
You know, so we want to go on to the Luka Magic.
Yes, Luka Magic.
Okay.
No pun intended.
Yes, sir. Of course, Luka Magic is Magic Johnson's advice to Luka. He was quick on that one.
Well, first of all, great
man.
job by Coach J.J. Redick to put everybody on notice on the Lakers team that they have to be in better conditioning for them to win an NBA championship. And I'm glad that Luka listened to J.J. And now look at him. I mean, he looks great right now. And the rest of the Lakers have to do the same thing, right? And Luka, it's great what you did in Dallas. But the difference is in Los Angeles, we expect championships. And we expect our superstars to lead us to a championship. LeBron has already did that. Now we want Luka to do the same thing. But it's going to take more than just Luka, right? It's going to take more than just Luka being in shape. Rob Pelinka got to improve the roster, right? And so we need a big man. And so hopefully we'll be able to get a big man during this offseason. I think we must improve the bench as well. And so Rob will have a chance to do that as well. So we got to get faster, Jay. Right now, the Lakers are too slow. And Minnesota really exposed the Lakers, right? And so when they had individual matchups, they went at Luka and they went at Austin Reeves. So they must improve the defense. If they don't improve the defense, there's no way the Lakers can win a championship. Well,
we've been saying that for 2 years.
Yeah, man. Good advice. Good advice from Magic. But it does look like, Luka is, taking the advice from JJ Redick. JJ Redick said out the gate, pretty much the first press conference after the season. Everybody needs to get in championship shape. So he didn't single anybody out, but he made the message known. And of course, we know who that was directed towards predominantly. Like I said, this is different. In Dallas, you could get away with certain things because Dallas only has one championship for their franchise. That's it. So when they see a player as special as Luka, they see Dirk again. It's different. The Lakers and the fan base is different. The fan base with the Lakers, they've seen nothing but elite players for the last 50 years. So they know what to expect from great players. They've seen multiple championships. There's some Laker fans out there that have seen literally their team win 10 times. Magic and Kobe.
It's crazy.
And 11 with LeBron. So, the fan base, the expectation from the organization is trophies automatically, and you got to set the tone as being the guy, being the best player. It looks like Luka's attacking this offseason differently than he's attacked any other offseason in his career, especially if he wants to get the extension that he's looking for. He has to show the Lakers that he's someone that they could depend on throughout the entire basketball season. The entire basketball season is not just after the playoffs; it's the off season as well. I don't know if he's playing in the Eurobasket tournament or not, but that could be a factor. Him getting in shape much earlier than he might have if it was just a regular off season where he didn't have to train and get ready for a tournament. But it's a great sign. It's a great sign. He's 26 years old. He needs to be playing off the ball much more. He needs to be cutting, coming off of screens. He shouldn't just have the basketball in his hands 24/7. Like he's young enough to where he could be able to move without the basketball, slash, cut, and then when his number's called and they need those type of buckets, he could get those type of buckets. And that's why I feel like at times he's very inefficient because he relies too much on a 3-point ball. He doesn't allow himself to get easier shots. When you don't allow yourself to get easier shots, you become accustomed to just making tough contested shots. Yes, he's great at doing that, but you don't want that to be your primary way of scoring. That has to be situational based. So I think, with JJ Redick, the offense going into next season, with him coming in halfway through the season last year, you can implement some new things. You expect his conditioning to be much better to where you could run certain plays that we might not have seen him run before. And I think that'll be what people are expecting for Luka to do this year. If you want to be an MVP, you should already have an MVP. You should be the next one out of this group. Edwards and Doncic should be the next guys out of this group to get the MVP. There's literally nothing stopping him. But you have to show some two-way ability, and you have to get your team to one of the top seeds in the conference. That's the criteria. We've seen one. We need to see both. And I think right now he's doing the right things. He's doing the right things for the Lakers in their future. Yeah, they have to build around. They have to build around Luka for sure. They need a center badly. They need a center badly. I mean, when you have 6'8" players on your team saying we need guys that can rebound, even though they're 6'8", right? It's like, all right. So you need to go get a traditional guy. Jackson Hayes, it just didn't work out. He was saying he didn't like his role once Luka got there. And I'm like, brother, your role wasn't going to get any easier than what it did with those 2 games.
Yep.
There's nothing he does offensively where he opposes any type of threat other than dunking. He's a vertical spacer, so you need a playmaker to give him the ball. You didn't make it work with Luka and LeBron. Wish you the best. So now you got Clint Capella, Steven Adams, Brook Lopez. Those are to me. You might need 2 of those guys. You probably would have to get 2 of those guys. Maybe draft someone or pick someone up that's younger. But definitely 1 out of those 3 they need to get. They need to get either Steven Adams or Clint Capella. Brook Lopez, money-wise, would probably ask for more than the other 2 just because he could do more. So I don't know contractually how that's going to work. But I know for what you could ask for from Adams and Clint Capella, rebound, space the floor, catch lobs, alter shots, crash the glass on both ends of the court, knock down free throws so you could be able to finish games for us and you don't have to come out the game when they foul you. That's what they need. And I think Capella and Adams probably do that better than anybody that I've seen on the market. So it starts there. You have to have some type of interior presence on both ends of the court. And then defensively, Reeves has to get stronger. He has to be a better defender. Hachimura, do you want to take your game to the next level? Do you want to be a guy that the Lakers could depend on and lean on post LeBron at that forward spot? That's up to him. It's there. He has ability. He has the mid range. He could slash. He could shoot the 3. He's really improved on that since he's gotten to the league out of Gonzaga. He has ability there, but you don't really see it come together all the time. So what does his offseason look like? So they could add some pieces. Chris Paul's been swirled around in terms of discussions, the backup point guard. They could definitely use a backup point guard off the bench because Gabe Vincent, I think they kept him there far too long. Like he wasn't successful. It wasn't a success there. I think you bring in someone like Chris Paul is a significant upgrade, even at 41. Other than a guy like Gabe Vincent, you just have to make sure you put some young guys around him because, of course, they're going to try to hunt him defensively. But, yeah, moves need to be made from a roster perspective, but more importantly, it starts with your superstar player, and he has to be able to set the tone. And if your superstar player is setting the tone in the offseason, that's just gonna fall into effect for everybody else in terms of the players and, of course, the franchise. So good advice from Magic. And like I said, I think the Lakers are going to have a really good season next year.
Yeah, I think so too. And we've talked numerous times that Rob maybe let go of his job, not ever fixing the roster for the past 2 or 3 years. Went out, of course, and did this whole Luka thing, and now got everybody back on fire for the Lakers actually being title contenders. So I think he is energized more to continue to fix this lineup as this summer league or this summer goes on. And like you said, both centers would be a huge pickup for them. There's no point in saying everything else you already said because I agree with what you said there. So we'll go ahead. Are these the 5 best power forwards ever? And that's a tough conversation to really have. And of course, for the podcasters that may be listening to this later, that's got a picture of 5 players here. We got Tim Duncan, Anthony Davis, Dirk, KG, and Giannis.
If your answer is yes, rank them 1, 2, 5.
Even that's tough, even on these
so
5.
A two-parter.
If I had to rank these 5, man, it's tough.
Well, the first part. Are these your 5 best power forwards of all time?
I mean, I don't know who I'd kick out, but Karl Malone obviously was great.
Karl Malone, Barkley.
Barkley as well. Technically Dennis Rodman, but however you want to put that in there. Chris Webber was also a great one. Just never got any rings because it's Sacramento, but was a good player. I would say Chris Bosh. Larry Bird, also a power forward.
Larry Bird played 4, played 3-4. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So
he was at the power forward spot.
And one of my favorite players in the NBA, Sean Kemp, was also a power forward, who I would take over all 5 of these guys just because of who he is. So, I don't think it's the top 5.
Okay.
Let's see here. To me, number 1 on this is definitely Tim Duncan, hands down for me. MVP, multiple rings, Mr. Fundamental. Anthony Davis, I think, has the potential to be in this top 5 if he would have been healthy his whole career. Talent-wise, yes. But technically, stats, whatever you want to say, Larry Bird, Karl Malone probably would technically go over him. Dirk's Dirk. That's about all you can say. So I'm going to say no, this is not my top 5. And I'm probably kicking out the guy who went to Kentucky, unfortunately, who is a great, talented player, but because he's been hurt so much. No MVPs, 1 ring with LeBron James in the Mickey Mouse ring, if you want to say that, and I'm not being disrespectful. So I would say for sure Anthony Davis would be out of my list here of that.
Yeah, I agree. I got Anthony Davis off my list as well. Karl Malone is the top 5. Yeah, Karl Malone's top 5 power forward. You can have your opinions about Malone, but we're just talking strictly
on
basketball.
The court.
Yeah, we're talking strictly basketball.
Yeah,
you can't leave a guy out that won MVP at the power forward spot, and then put the guy in that doesn't have an MVP. And then the other 4 guys got MVPs. So
yeah. Do you put Larry Bird in your list though?
I consider Larry Bird a small forward, so I don't have him in his list per se. But in his prime, he did play 3 and the 4. And then when you look at his numbers, like some of his career year, it was at power forward. But I necessarily consider Larry Bird.
I'll accept what you're saying, and I'm with you because back then power forwards didn't really have the ball in hand like Larry Bird did, of what we know of highlights. So yeah, small forward. I'm good with that.
So yeah, Carmelo's in here. When he retired, he was number 2 all time in scoring, MVP, just unstoppable force. Led Utah to 2 finals appearances. So yeah, top 5. He's definitely a top 5 power forward. Let's just get that out the way.
Do you have Barkley in this?
No.
Okay.
No, I do not. No, I do not have Barkley on the outside looking in. It's for the simple fact that he doesn't have the championship. But Malone is better than Barkley. So that's like the difference there. I'm going Duncan.
Number 1 in order, or
Yeah.
you just name it 5? Okay.
Yeah, I got Duncan 1. 2, I got Giannis. I believe when it's all said and done, Giannis will be the second best power forward of all time. Me personally, now career-wise, all-time wise, you could say Karl
Dirk
Malone.
is the 5.
No, I'm saying you could have Karl Malone 3rd. Like if you was doing it like an all-time perspective, you could say Karl Malone is 3rd based on accolades and everything he's accomplished.
Right.
But me personally, I would have Karl Malone 5th.
Okay.
And
KG's got to be 3, right?
I'm gonna go Dirk 3.
Okay.
And I'm gonna go KG 4. Because again, like what Dirk did that year, man. I mean, and I know KG obviously helped the Celtics with the chip, won Defensive Player of the Year, and won MVP. But that year for Dirk, man, it's just
that year was special.
Yeah, I mean, it was like 92% from the free throw line at 7 foot tall. I mean, it's just 30 points, 11 rebounds. It was different. He was different. So I got Duncan, Giannis, Dirk, KG, the male guy.
Gotcha. I think I'd have Dirk 4 and KG. Honestly, obviously we have our own opinions. I'm going to go Duncan, KG, Giannis, Dirk, Karl Malone. I mean, KG, man, defensive side too, with his offense. Offense, I feel like gets overlooked quite a bit for KG because of its defense player of the year. But the mentality he had too, like you didn't goof off on his team. You were there for war. And I just respect his game a lot. Of course, that was when I was a lot younger too, during that era too. So I'm going to put KG as my second. Now, Giannis, I do think will pass by the time his career's over. Because, I mean, we still got another 5 to 6, 7, maybe even 10 years with Giannis. 10 might be pushing it.
Yeah, I say 7. I say 7 for sure. 7 for sure. Again, and it's Dirk winning that chip, and look, it means something when you bring a championship to the team that you got drafted to. It means more. It means more. We just see it that we always see it that way. Look at Jordan brought 6 rings to the Bulls. Like what? Hey, I mean, so that just that one chip for Dirk and the run that he went on was special. And then Giannis, same thing. Giannis bringing the championship to the Bucks, and obviously we know what Tim Duncan did. So that stuff matters, man. When it's with the team, when it's and even for LeBron, like we don't even talk about the Miami championships. Everybody talks about 3-1 lead, 2016.
Yeah, I mean
everybody, man. So that's the most important ring. Any fan will tell you. Any real basketball fan will tell you. The chips that you win with the team that you got drafted to will always mean more.
And honestly, that's why most of the people dislike LeBron, was because he did leave to win his first and then came back to win more. Because it means a lot more to win it at home.
Yep.
Speaking of LeBron winning championships, wherever it may be, got a question that CJ wants to know. Where were you in 2016 NBA Finals?
Where were you? I was in school studying IT.
Nice.
Around this time, finals is on. Man, it was 3-1. I was like, man, it's I was like, yeah, I was like, man, this is over. Golden State got it. They're about to have the perfect season, literally the perfect season, 73-9, win the championship, and then we get this masterpiece, 82 combined from LeBron and Kyrie, hands down one of the greatest games I've ever seen live.
Oh, absolutely. And
No.
the hype from the fans and everybody.
Yeah, like I'm in the lounge. I was in the lounge with friends, like watching this, like in the lounge where we would stay at. We watched the games. Everybody just couldn't believe it. Now this is the Draymond suspended game. People on TV saying, if Draymond would have played, still had 3 more games for them to win. So I'm really not trying to hear that. Or 2 more games for them to win when Draymond 6 and 7 Draymond played. So they're done. So nobody wants to hear that.
What center got hurt?
9. You can't win one game without your third best player. What happened?
Who was the center that got hurt too?
Bogut.
Yes, Andrew Bogut. He got hurt.
I think Bogut got hurt, or Zaza. I think it might have been Zaza. Zaza or Bogut, one of those guys. But yeah, those guys weren't going to play a factor in whether they were winning this chip or not. It was going to come down to Steph and Clay, obviously, more so Steph, of course. And this Kyrie. This is where everybody. This is Kyrie introduced. He got a lot of fans this summer, man. This was the summer where Kyrie got a lot of new fans, man. I always knew he was special.
This is
in the tri-state area.
This would be the ones that the season that he put fans in the seat for his superstardom.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then
just the shot making from Kyrie, bro. Just at 6'2", there's no shot that's difficult for him.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like that's what's so great about watching him play, is that there's always any shot looks like a good shot to him all the time. So
we got Josh in the comments.
The right, baby, let's go. Yeah, that's a good win. Much needed win, bro.
Yeah.
Much needed win. Had to get that.
For me, as far as that 3-1 lead blown, where was I? I was watching my 2 babies, staying up, feeding babies, watching that series. And honestly, that's probably, my kids are 8 now. That was probably my most memorable, kind of like, okay, kids are getting in here, sports got to go in the back burner. My last finals that was fun to watch because I was just myself with holding the kids. Now they're growing, and it's hard for me to enjoy some of those games now. But of course, they're getting older. Where now we can get back into it, and enjoy it with my son who loves the NBA as well. It's all he watches is NBA and 2K creators making these teams and seeing who can win and what and all this stuff. It gets on my nerves.
Look at this though. LeBron 41, 16, and 7. 2 turnovers, 3 steals, 3 blocks. Kyrie had 41, 3, and 6, 2 steals, 1 block. One took 8 threes, the other took 7. So again, they're not jacking up a bunch of threes, taking good shots.
And 17 of 24 for Kyrie. That's great.
Yeah. He was. They were on one, man. They were on one. This was. And when they captured the championship, I'm like, yo, this is gonna be the duo for the next 5 years. And then my next chapter, Kevin Durant.
Yeah, honestly,
summer of 16 started off good, and then once July 6 hit, my next chapter, it was a wrap after that.
It sure was. If he didn't get hurt in Boston, man, he would have been a superstar because the fans would have loved him still.
Yeah, Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying if he didn't leave Cleveland, if they would have stayed
Yeah.
as a duo, man, who knows? Because LeBron still, this is only 2016, and he still had a lot left in the tank during this time. So
That was 9 years ago.
yeah,
That's
time
crazy.
time really flies by for real. Sir.
All right, I think that's got us for today, ain't it? Of course, it's midnight. That's good. Time to quit. Maybe play one game of 2K. Maybe not. I don't know. It's awful late.
Yeah, it's getting late, man.
But guys, the real MVP of this are the 161 that are right now watching through this whole episode, and I think they're all on our Twitter, CJ's Twitter account. So shout out you guys. There's one on the Facebook. We appreciate that. Go follow us on YouTube. Of course, subscribe to the channel. Turn on that notification bell. YouTube.com/@MNC Hoops. Of course, we got Facebook, Twitter. We've got all that stuff. And, of course, we are on podcasts as well. Please share our content as well. Help us get our show out there. We'd appreciate that. But before we get off of here, CJ, actually, let me say this too before. Of course, today's Friday. We won't be live until after this. So I want to say happy Father's Day to all you dads out there as well. You're one of the most important things in your family, and you need to be present. Just saying that.
Yes, sir. Happy Father's Day to all the real fathers out there holding it down, taking care of their families, doing what a man is supposed to do. Salute to you guys. Hope all you guys get great gifts. A lot of love. Time to relax on Sunday, man. You guys deserve it. Salute.
Yep. CJ, where can we find you at?
You can find me on X at cjames9_, on IG cj.james9, and also on YouTube at CJ vs. the World and Twitch.
Awesome. You can find me, MD Lawson, on all social media platforms. I do have a second show, Cats Chat Pod, where we're live actually on Wednesdays covering Kentucky sports. We're 3 or 4 episodes away from doing 100 episodes. It's kind of crazy that we've done that many episodes already. So we're trying to plan something kind of big on that. We're going to try to go to up in Lexington to a restaurant that sponsors our show and maybe do a live viewing there just to see what we can get going on. Should be fun. Excuse me. So, guys, that wraps up our episode. My son has a all-star tournament tomorrow, so good luck to all you Little League players that are be playing tomorrow all across the nation, because it's about that time where we get to see the Little League World Series. It's coming up, so man, play out. But until we see you guys again, y'all have a good one.
See you guys soon. Take care.